How's it going, guys? It's Hidden in Christ 411, and today I want to talk about a little bit about the music industry and the current day and age with the young rappers. It's sad, like some of the stories that come out of seeing some of these guys lose their life. I look at them, I see me because I was once at that age. I was once sorry about that. I was once you know, out there with my friends thinking we're invincible, basically. And I'm gonna mention people, like I said, who are no longer alive, but I don't want to disrespect anybody's family or nothing like that. I just keep it neutral. Like, I just want to talk about the reality of people losing their life. And a lot of people don't think they can be touched in a sense. You know, no matter who you are, when you're at a certain age and you're running around doing whatever you want, it's just so fun and so fast. Like everything, you're not even trying to think about that kind of stuff. So, and then there's another side to it where there are people who live a lifestyle where that there could potentially be in danger any second of the day, any minute, anything can happen. So they live as if that can happen. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lifestyle that it's calling it to itself. It's different if you have a license to carry and then you're in self-defense, but when you're in a lifestyle like that, it's just a whole different thing. So I'm gonna share a dream and a little story, but I used to work at this job where I had a friend there who came from another store, and then he permanently was at my store, and we used to talk all the time about the Bible, Jesus, music, everything, like every topic, like relationships, just giving him advice, you know what I'm saying? One day, because he wanted to be married, but not right now, type thing, you're married, type thing, like, what do you think about, this and this situation I went through with this girl, like, we talked about everything. So one day we was talking about music and the Bible and stuff like that, and he asked me about the XXXtentacion and Lil Uzi Vert. And these are two rappers who basically blew up around the same time. And I guess he used to listen to them or whatever, but I never listened to none of these guys. But I knew who both of them were because I've seen interviews from them. I've seen their pictures. I've seen clips of like controversial stuff with them. So I kind of knew who they were. And it was funny because that he asked, because the XXX kid, I had just learned about him like a couple of weeks before he asked me. So he was like more fresh in my mind. I think I had watched like 2 or 3 videos about him or something like that. And I just knew he was a famous young guy. SoundCloud or something like that is how he blew up. But anyways, when he asked me, he's like, has God shown you anything about them? I was like, well, I could tell you what I feel in the spirit, what God is showing me, like, in that sense. But I've never seen anything about them. But from the little things I've seen about them, I can tell you what God is saying, And I said, for the little Uzi Vert dude, I said, you don't have to worry about him. I said, even though he does like crazy stuff, like he dresses a certain way, he told all the dudes, the fans in the crowd one time, all y'all going to hell with me. I was like, even though he said these things, and he's more forward with his, I don't know, demonic nature or whatever, I was like, you don't have to worry about him. I was like, you don't have to worry about him. Whenever God does something or judges him, it's not going to be right now. I said, just don't even worry about him. But I said, XXX, I said, something is going on with him. I can call this dude right now, and he'll tell you this story. He'll tell you exactly what I'm saying. I said, something is going on with him. I was like, pray for him. I said, if you like his music, pray for him, because I'm not feeling like something's wrong here. Like something. And this was like December 2018. He died in 2019, June, I think 2019. A couple of months later, 6 months later, basically. So, long story short, months go by, he passes away. I remember everything I was doing that day. And it hit me different because I had been praying for him. Like, ever since that moment with the dude at my job, I was, I should just pray for him. So I started praying for him. And when he passed, it hurt me because I had essentially like stock in his life, because I'm interceding. Like, I feel his passing more than probably someone else, Probably not as much as one of his fans, but as a Christian who doesn't even listen to that kind of music, just because I pray for him, he was in my prayer life a little bit. I felt his passing, you know, and it really I think I was like working on something for somebody, or I was like drawing that day, like just practicing or something, and I couldn't do nothing for the rest of the day. Like the stuff I just put all my stuff away and was just like, just sad, you know what I'm saying? Another believer, type of believer might be like, oh, he got what he deserved. Like people be saying stuff like that, but it's like people be having family and stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's like y'all be, I don't know, man. Y'all don't have no heart. I've lost family, so I'm not coming up here to disrespect nobody, but it was really sad. And I think he was only like 19 or 20, which is like the sadder part. And I think for me, like when I was discerning, like, don't worry about Lil Uzi Vert right now, just XXX, like something's going on. They both were saying like XXX was talking about astral projecting and meditating and all this stuff like that, like chakras and all of that. And Lil Uzi Vert was just outwardly Satanism, like talking about hell, talking about stuff like that. But I felt like XXX believed it. Like Lil Uzi might just be doing it to do it just because like he's in it. But XXX, I feel like before he even got in, like blew up, I believe who you saw is like really who he was. Like he really believed what he believed. It's kind of like Tupac. It's like Tupac believed everything he believed. Like he wasn't faking the Black Panther thing, you know what I'm saying? He really had this dual nature of like, I'm for the people, but if you cross me, thug life. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, like, which are basically the thug life thing wasn't supposed to be a bad organization anyway, but it sounds great like thug life. But XXX believed what he was doing. And there's a difference. If you're just playing around, yeah, something can happen to you, but when you believe in it and you're opening certain doors, no matter who you are, you can invite certain things in. So I basically, I had a dream like a couple of weeks later about him. And in the dream, I was in the mall with him and we were walking around and he wasn't talking to me. In the whole dream, he never said nothing to me. Which is the way it's supposed to be. But it was like it's one of those type of dreams where I didn't have control over the dream, or like it was just happening. Like I can't explain it. It was just happening. Like, but anyways, he was not talking at all. And all of a sudden I saw across the mall somewhere, like these dudes coming to kill him. And I knew in real life what happened to him. So in the dream, I was like, yo, I gotta get you out of here. Like, come with me. Like, I'm gonna take you somewhere and hide you. And he wasn't believing me. He wasn't wanting to come with me. Like, as if I didn't know what I was talking about. But because I knew what happened to him in real life, I was trying to protect him from it happening in the dream. So eventually I get him to listen to me, and he comes with me to this room in the mall. And when I shut the door, it turned into like a bedroom. It looked like it was his bedroom from when he was a kid or something. I don't know. But he's sitting with his legs crossed on the floor. And I was like, yo, we're safe in here. I was like, yo, you got to put your faith in Jesus. I was like, you got to trust Jesus. I was like, there's no other way. Like, these dudes are trying to hurt you. And I was like, I know what's supposed to happen to you. So this is your chance. Like, that doesn't have to happen to you. And he just starts smiling at me in the dream. He's smiling at me, and then he shook his head no. But the way he shook his head was like, I know what you're saying, but it's too late for me. I can't put my faith in Jesus right now. Like, I just can't go back and like it's done. Like, I'm not here no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was the end of the dream. And after that dream, it hurt me even more. Like, dang, man, like, this is sad. This is really sad, man. Like, young dudes are losing their lives. They don't know God. A lot of these guys, I get it when you're that young, because I got saved when I was 19. Like, if you don't know, you just don't know the goodness of God. Like, you don't know the scriptures. You don't know Jesus. Like, it's understandable. but at the same time, anything can happen. And when you're a famous young man, there's jealousy. There's people who want what you got. There's people who are close to getting what you got, but they never got it, but you got it. Like, it's a lot of factors, and you got to live a certain way if you want fame. You know what I'm saying? It's not what it's cracked up to be honest. And we need to put our faith in Jesus. And that dream, I believe that I was shown what I was shown about him because there was probably people praying for him all along. There probably were people who intervened and tried to help him. There probably were people who, you know what I'm saying? And from what I hear, he was changing up his life when he passed away. So that's even, you know what I'm saying, is even worse. And you know, similar to the whole situation with Pop Smoke, and I didn't even know about him. I never heard of him until the day that I saw the news that he passed away. But he was only like 20 or 21. He didn't even get to see his career what it became. I think he's more streamed than Drake and Kanye and all these other people. I don't know if that was just for a certain year, but I did see a statistic that his music was more streamed than all of them. So he didn't even get to see the success that happened when he passed away. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was about to release his first solo album. Like, that's crazy. Like, and unfortunately he passed away, you know. And to be honest, the last thing I'm going to say is I usually get very nervous when God is leading me to research somebody, or I might have a dream about someone I don't know. I don't listen to their music, or I'll get a name or something like that. Sometimes it makes me nervous because I know that I can't play around with that. Because 9 times out of 10, something really does happen to them. This is not the first time. Like, it's really not the first time. Like, when Kobe died, maybe a couple of weeks before that, I just sat down and watched a whole interview that he had. I think it was with him and like Shaquille O'Neal or something like that. I watched the whole thing, and I typically never really be paying attention to the stuff Kobe was doing in his retirement. Like, I wasn't paying attention, like, but I just felt I gotta watch this interview. And then he dies. Like, you know what I'm saying? The XXX kid, you know, that happened to him. And Julian, the dude on my job, comes back to me. He's like, yo, you told me this. You know, he's like, you told me not to worry about him, and you told me about XXX, and he dies. Like he just couldn't believe it. Like, you could ask him, like, this was our real conversation, and I'm just like, it's not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the reality, bro. Some people are in danger. This is why we need to pray. This is why we need to fast. This is why we need to seek God and be with Jesus. He is our refuge. He is Jehovah Nissi, Yahweh Nissi, Yahuwah Nissi. However, you know, people have all kinds of ways they want to say the Father's name. Listen, this is real. This is real life. Things can happen. Whether you're 10, 12, 15, 18, 80. Everybody not going to live to 130 and 20 and 10 and 100. So the time to believe and trust Jesus is right now. He will guide you. It's no longer you who live, but Christ who lives in you. It's not you doing the work. He changes your desires. You don't have to quit smoking just because you say yes to Jesus. He's going to help you to quit smoking. He wants the glory. He wants you to just give him that yes, and he's going to start to walk you on that path. Some people get delivered in one shot. Some people, it takes them a couple of weeks, a couple of months for them to get a strong, true repentance, metanoia, change their mind. And then God will start to do this work. I know so many people who are still smoking weed, still smoking cigarettes, drinking after they said yes to Jesus. But then he began to change them. Come as you are and let him do the work in you so he can get the glory. You know, the last thing I'll say too is, you know, it's sad to hear about these young men and women sometimes losing their lives in the music industry, or just in Hollywood, or just in general, just like in the streets. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, these people are not getting to raise their kids, and it's just wild. You know, Tupac, Biggie were in their mid-20s when they both died, and, you know, you could see the potential in these people. You know, you could see the gifts that God placed in them, and that's when it hurts even more, because it's like, dang, they would have been a force to reckon with. So that's all I wanted to say. Trust Jesus now while you can. Time is short. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. So trust God while today is still called today.